Greetings, survivors. Today I want to talk about electricity. And basically I want to look at how much electricity we can generate with the various forms, how much electricity is consumed by each electrical equipment, and how much we can tie to a bank, a given bank of each kind of equipment. So let's start with the lowest quality possible. So with the solar bank, the lowest quality for a solar cell is 15 watts. The battery bank, the lowest quality is 25 watts. And for the generator, the lowest quality for the small engine provides 50 watts. Now, if we look at the other end of the spectrum, the higher quality, we have 30 watts for 600, 50 watts for 600 battery, and 100 watts for 600 small engine. Basically, the lowest quality provides exactly half the amount the highest quality provides. So for solar is from 15 to 30, for battery from 25 to 50, and for generators it's 50 to 100. And if you take into account that you can put 6 of each on each bank, then the maximum amount the solar bank can provide is 180 watts. The maximum amount the battery bank can provide is 300 watts. And the maximum amount the generator bank can provide is 600 watts. So for battery and generator, the battery is exactly half the generator. So half the max amount, half the minimum watts provided, half the maximum watts provided. The solar, it's I say about 60% of what battery is, but well, we'll have exact numbers, so we don't have to worry about percentages. But this gives an indication of how much we change from one to the other. So let's look at how much each piece of equipment consumes energy. Now we'll start with our good old electric wire relay, and that's 1 watt. Now the electric timing relay, that's interesting because it actually provides 0 watts. Actually consumes 0 watts. So you can use the electric timer relay instead of the electric wire relay to extend a wire a long way without losing energy along the way. Now you have to have some period of time, at least half an hour, or not even half an hour. If you use it from 0 to 0, it's always on. So you can just replace the electric wire relay with the electric timer relay, and then you won't lose any energy along the way. I guess that's kind of a cheat, but well, what can you do? You can also use the oh, sorry, it's not no, you have to lose at least half an hour. Okay. But you can also use the light switch for that. The light switch is also 0 watts, and you can just string along a bunch of light switches and turn them all on, and then you can extend some the range to which you can hook up equipments without losing any energy along the way, which is what would happen with the electric wire relay. Now let's look at other pieces of equipment at the 0 and 1 watt consumption. So the trigger plate whether we're talking about the 1x1 or the 1x5, the trigger plate uses 0 watts whether on or off. So it doesn't matter if someone is standing on them or not, it's 0 watts. And the tripwire uses 1 watt, whether it's on or off. So there's one, and I could hook up others and they all consume 1 watt, even though if I connect something to them, it would not do that. So let's get one more tripwire post here just for an example. So this is now consuming 1 watt, but if I connected something to this, it would not consume anything. And when it's activated, it still consumes 1 watt, but of course it would allow energy to go on to another piece of equipment. So let's go to the big table here. At 0 watts, we have the electric timer relay, the trigger plate, and the switch. And at 1 watt, we have the electric wire relay and the tripwire post. So let's get down here again and let's look at other stuff. So every kind of light in this game, no matter how good or bad it is, has 5 watt consumption. So they all use 5 watts. That being the case, well, you should pick the one that you like the most because of either efficiency or looks. Since they basically consume the same energy, there is no other thing to look at when considering that. Now, other things that take 5 watts consumption are the motion sensor and the speaker. So, motion sensor here is on, and that's the speaker. They both consume 5 watts, the same as the lights. And we can go back to the big table here. So, motion sensor. Oh, I forgot one. Yes. Also consuming 5 watts is the electric fence post. Now, for the electric fence post, well, the tripwire has the same thing. You use tripwires in pairs, or well, you can string them up like this. So either this one or this one would activate, and if this one is the one being activated, it will still provide energy to anything connected to this tripwire. Let's hook the spotlight here for an example. So the spotlight is now off. Let's turn all these lights off. So, of course, if I'm standing here, it turns on. But it also turns on if I stand here. So even though this is not being tripped, it will still provide energy. That's how all the trigger works. So the tripwires work in pairs, or you can extend it longer, but 2 watts minimum. And the same for the electric fence posts. They work in pairs, so you need at least 2, and that's 10 watts. Now let's go back here. So at 5 watts we have the motion sensor, the electric fence post, lights, and the speaker. The next is 10 watts. And I put in that table a pair of electric fence posts because it's very common to use them in pairs. Also consuming 10 watts is the dart trap. So if I turn this on here, 10 watts consumption. So at 10 watts, the dart trap and the electric fence post. Well, the electric fence post pairs. 2 electric fence posts, 10 watts, same as dart traps. And that's an easy way to think of it, Because if you have, say, 4 sides of your base to cover, you you can think of 10 watts on each side instead of counting the number of electric fence posts. Next, at 15 watts, we have the auto turret and the shotgun turret. And finally, at 20 watts, we have the blade traps, which is the equipment that consumes most energy of all. So 15 watts, shotgun turrets and auto turrets. 20 watts, blade traps. Now, I have some numbers here, which is the maximum amount of equipment you can connect for each of these. I'm skipping the 1 watt or 2 watts because that's simply 1 watt, 180. That means you can connect 180 tripwires or 180 electric wire relays. But that's, well, that's, yeah, there's no need for conversion here. Now, for all others, I'm making 2 computations here. We have motion sensor, electric fence posts, lights and speakers at 5 watts. But I'm also adding 1 on each of these numbers to account for a relay for each equipment, which if you want to hide your wiring, it's very common. So if you have 5 lights, you consume 5 times 5 watts. But if you have a relay on each one, then that will be 5 times 6. So let's look at these numbers and look at how many equipments we can connect to each one. So these numbers are from the minimum amount to the maximum amount for a bank that is fully filled. So in this case, we can connect 18 lights to a solar bank with 6 one-quality solar panels. Now, you probably not get one-quality solar panels, but that gives a good minimum and maximum for each. So for a solar panel, for a solar bank, we can connect from 18 to 36 lights, or speakers, or motion sensors, or if you account for a wire relay, from 15 to 30. For dart traps or electric fence post pairs, we can connect from 9 to 18, or accounting for the electric wire relay, 8 to 16. For turrets, we can connect 6 to 12 or 5 to 11 when accounting for the electric wire relay. And finally, you can connect 4 to 9 blade traps on a solar bank, or accounting for the electric wire relay, 4 to 8 blade traps. Now, for battery banks, it's 30 to 60 lights or 25 to 50 lights plus relays. 15 to 30 electric fence post pairs and dart traps, or 13 to 27 electric fence post pairs, dart traps, plus their relays. For turrets, 10 to 20 or 9 to 18 with the relay. And finally, for blade traps, you can hook up 7 to 15 blade traps or 7 to 14 blade traps with their electric wire relays. Finally, the generator. The generator bank, which uses the small engines, it's exactly the double of the battery. So the lower number here is the higher number here. So where the battery bank stops, the generator bank starts. So looking at the maximum number for a generator with 600 quality small engines, we have a maximum of 120 lights or 100 lights with relays. 60 dart traps, or electric fence post pairs. Well, 120 electric fence posts or 100 electric fence posts with relays, though we don't usually use relays with electric fence posts. 60 blade traps or electric fence post pairs, 54 blade traps and electric fence post pairs with relays, 40 shotgun or auto turrets, or 37 turrets when you add a relay, and finally 30 blade traps or 28 blade traps with an electric wire relay. So these are the numbers. Let's get some sum on them. There you go. These are the numbers for the amount of equipment you can connect to each kind of bank. And I hope that should help you figure out how many banks you're going to use and what kind of banks. As a last note, there is something interesting about the solar and the interaction between solar banks and battery banks. Now, solar banks do not run at night, and battery banks cannot be refilled like the generator banks, but they can be recharged if a solar bank or a generator bank is attached to them. So the way it goes usually is that you attach a solar panel, a solar bank, to a battery bank, and then you attach all the equipment to the battery bank. On one hand, that would mean that you're effectively limited to the solar panel maximum, the solar bank maximums. On the other hand, if you use the electric timer relay so that some equipments will only work at night when zombies are running or there is no light, then the solar bank won't have any power drainage, so to speak, during the day because the equipment is only turned during the night, and only the battery bank matters. Now, to recharge the battery bank, the solar bank uses 5 watts. You can see an example here. Let me connect this here. And the quality of the lead battery is going down, so it's getting drained. And now connect this here. See, 5 watts. So let's in fact add here battery recharge. So at 5 watts, battery recharge as well. And you can connect multiple battery banks to a single solar bank. In fact, you can connect up to 36 battery banks through a solar bank. Now that won't actually happen because each equipment has a maximum amount of connections going out, so we'll never be able to connect 36 battery banks directly to a solar bank, but you can connect up to 36 and recharge all of them in other ways. So that's all for today, and I hope you enjoyed this and that it's useful to you, and thank you for watching.